One of the terms that often comes up when talking about protecting our gardens from diseases and pests is crop rotation, especially organically. But how do you do that in a home garden, and does it really make sense? Well, yes it does, but that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. How to do crop rotation in your home garden, no matter what the size, even if you have only 1 or 2 beds. Most of the time when there's a discussion around crop rotation, well, usually that's in the context of a farm or a large garden where there's plenty of room to spread that family of crops from one location to the next, to the next, to the next, ideally over a minimum of 4 growing seasons. But what happens if you have a small garden space? Maybe it's just 2 beds or even 1 bed. What do? Is it even practical and feasible? And the answer to that is yes and yes. Now we're going to use my beds as an example, and I have 16 raised beds, so crop rotation for me over a 4-year cycle is super easy to do, but let me just show you, if you have 2 beds, how you do it. Now I've already planted my beds out for the season with beans, so just ignore that and go with me on this. So let's say that we love our tomatoes. Now in the tomato family, in a garden setting, typically we're dealing with tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, and potatoes. So you don't want to plant anything from the same family in the same location season after season when we're talking about crop rotation. But let's stay with tomatoes for this example. So in the first season, and we're having 2 beds in this example, the first season we're planting our tomatoes. And it doesn't matter where you start, but let's just arbitrarily pick this side of this bed. Okay, so we get through the first season, all is well. Let's say we planted 2 plants. In the second season, we want to move over to the second bed. Now, where in the second bed, it really doesn't matter, but we'll stick with a zigzag pattern. And so in season 2, our 2 tomato plants go right here, and they grow out through the season. Now, in season 3, what do? Well, we have the opportunity to go back into the original bed. That's what we're going to do, and we'll just hop right over. And so in season 3, we're right in this location, which is still far away from our first year, so that gives us maximum separation there. And then in season 4, where do we go? Well, we zigzag back over here to this end, and again, that's as far away as possible from where they were in season 2, within the same bed. And now we get to season 5, well, it's okay to start right back to the original position. So that's as good as we can do in a 2-bed system over a 4-period crop rotation cycle. Now, what happens if we only have 1 bed? Can you still do it? Yes, you can. It's a little tighter on the spacing, but here's how we would do it. Again, we're going to pick that arbitrary starting point. So I'll pick this end of the bed. And in season 2, I'm going to move my tomatoes over to this far end, as far away as possible as I can get. And remember, I only have 1 bed, so that's all I can do. And then in season 3, I want to get as far away from this spot as possible. So I'm coming back over next to where they were in season 1. So that's right here, kind of that second quarter of the bed. Now in season 4, I have no option to get as far away as possible without reusing a space. I've got to go over here, right in this 3rd quarter. Now in a single bed system, sooner or later you're going to be sharing space next to the place you last planted, but that's the best you can do. But anything is better than continuing to plant crops from the same family in the same place. So move them around the best you can, and that's better than anything else you can do.